Last week we unloaded another 15,000 chicks into my farm, kicking off yet another growth cycle. This week we'll take a look at how we're managing them, how our new equipment upgrades are performing, and we'll also make a trip up north to meet a few young commercial poultry entrepreneurs. These early stages are absolutely critical to dial in. So ladies and gentlemen, let's see how it goes. We're here at the farm. It's been about 12 hours since we got the chicks unloaded, so it's still what we'd call day zero. So let's go check out what's going on. So I'm gonna take a look at the temperature. Here we got a steady 33 degrees, the exact temperature that we set these things on. And these look like they may be off right now, which would be pretty cool, which means that they shut off because we're at the temperature that we set them to. And I mean, you see the smile on my face, that'd be fucking unreal. Normally we show up here and we're saying, like, what do we do? The temperature's this, it's that, and it's never where we want it to be. So I'm gonna have to send a message to our friends at AFI and say, yo, this be working. Okay, let's go see what they look like inside. I'll walk around, but I like to take a quick little peek because, like, if they don't see anybody, I have a feeling that they're all like partying, smoking drugs and stuff when they don't think they're being watched. And all the heaters are off. Let's f***ing go. And again, this is why it's important to walk by frequently. Little holes like this, you don't want to leave these guys out here for too long. Just doing a check of the crops to make sure that they have been eating. You want to feel the majority of these chicks have been eating by now, and especially by the end of the day, they should almost all have a little pouch on them. So what you do is you check right on the side of them here. It's got a little pouch, and like you can feel the feed in there. Probably about 24-hour-old Manook here. Look at him. He's kind of a bit of a busog one there. Good job. If you keep that up, we'll harvest you in 30 days and you'll be one of the best chicken burgers in town, all right? Now get back in there. Now he's incentivized to go do well for us. Really, the first 3 days is what my big focus was coming in to this cycle here, is really trying to dial in the brooding. It's a lot of things that we've tried to dial in throughout the cycle, but if you up your first 3 days, you're kind of playing catch up for the rest of the cycle here. A lot of the stability in the environment is our new Ultra Ray high beam. And we're also starting off with, we have one ventilation fan running on a schedule right now. So we have it at just 20 seconds on and about 4.5 minutes off right now, just to get some fresh air circulating. And then if that ends up cooling things down too much, like our heaters will be responsive to any changes in temperature. So I'm really happy seeing this, not just because the environment is more stable, but because our income statement should be looking more profitable. And again, last cycle, 17 tanks of gas. This cycle, we'll let you know. So one thing I noticed this time around is that there's no chicks panting, really. Like as I take a look around, I'll put a video on the screen because I got some from last cycle when I thought we were just kind of cooking them a little bit. And you see big groups of them panting, just like a dog would, kind of trying to cool themselves down through the respiration. I wish the heaters would just turn on right now so we could get a good view. Ready? They're actually mind controlled too. We just missed it, but they literally just turned on right now. We'll get the editor to put it in and make it look like I did it.
No problemo.
And at this stage, it's fine to walk around quite frequently to keep them up and active here. As they get older, say you're in your last week and they're pretty big birds, and it's hot out, like they do get heat stroke and just like stroke from stress. And we saw that live in the flesh last time when we did our thinning. That's the first time I've seen birds actually stroke out in front of my own eyes, and we'll show you. I haven't been showing any mortality just because, you know, it's a little gruesome, but we'll give you the reality this time. And when you see a dead Manook, like a big one, it's so stiff. Like its legs are straight behind it and it's like stiff as a board. And when they start stroking out, you see their legs start kicking behind themselves. I'm getting into detail here, some morbid detail. Start kicking behind themselves and like really getting in that stiff kind of catatonic posture. So we got a good view of that last time, but obviously you want to limit things like that. So at this age, not a huge deal. They're like curious. You can go up to them and, like, you know, they come up to your hand. This might be my special powers here, but when they're older, you do shit like that. They don't give a f. I was sending some photos to some doctors on Facebook. Shout out Doc Virai for helping me getting these Sisiu and Manook in a stable environment here. So you really want to lean on other people that do it the mistakes they made and what they've seen. You know, a good one for me has been Doc V. Rye. Give him a little shout out here because we communicate quite often and he's been very, very forthcoming with the knowledge that he has. I'm also just gonna lay this down because we have some questions if that's accurate. You know, you can't go wrong with a few different devices monitoring your temperature because some may be more accurate than others. So you can hear the subtle jet stream. We'll get some ASMR here. Sounds like the SpaceX Falcon Heavy launching to Mars, but instead it's the Shore Time Ultra Ray launching our Manook to new weights. Come on. And it is reading warmer than what the Temptron's saying, and I do trust this a little bit more. So that's good to know that this is undershooting what the temperature is inside based on what we have this set to, which is a new thermometer, and what we have the little handheld thing set to, which is also new. So there you go. We'll go by those two instead of trusty Temptron here. Okay, that is it here for what is day 0. The first 24 hours of the chicks being here. The new equipment's working really well. We've maintained a good temperature in there and they look a lot better than last time. So I'm optimistic here on day 1. What do you think, guys? They're optimistic too. It's day 2 here. A little tired. Days are getting busy. It is 25 degrees outside. A good 6-7 degrees colder than it was yesterday. So we'll see what the temperature is like inside. This is what these heaters are meant to mitigate, these big temperature fluctuations. So we'll go take a look. We have a CCTV thing here, just some cheap shit. We're gonna throw it inside the farm. You just screw it in like a light bulb apparently. So we'll see how that works. We have some folks down there fixing the feed auger for the 3rd time actually, which is nice. So you don't want these things fixed once, right? You want to get the subscription program so you're fixing the same thing every month. And that's what we're doing here. That's a joke, by the way. Let's go check the inside of the farm. Foot bath, guys, okay? Foot bath. Oh my God, you're going in there with shorts on. Where's your biohazard suit? That's how we do it out here, baby. Raw and in touch with nature. Let's go. It's a management thing here, and this is why you need to be attentive and be on site, especially if you think your people here can be careless. Like, look at this shit. They removed the chick paper. Look at how many chicks are outside of the pen. Like, that's just, I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I'd shuck him in now, but I'd want Kuya to do it, and he's got to see what's going on here. So let's go let him know what's going on. So did a little walk around, fixed this chick situation. Just noticing since we removed the chick paper, splashed up rice hull, and it's looking like cloudy down there. And I think it's just a little too hot. Down there where we have the tarp up, they're kind of, you can see some panting and stuff, and they don't feel as full as they did yesterday. So I think we're gonna just steadily run one ventilation fan there to clear out the air a little bit and then lower these tarps down. It's just we need to make sure hot air doesn't keep building up and accumulating in there and getting trapped, and then the air quality looks shitty. So flick on the one just at the far end there, manually. This works the same here. Manual, flick it to the left, automatic to the right. Same here with the fans, with the automatic set by this Temptron shit here. So let's go see how that feels. We're still trying to find the sweet spot here for this farm, which is generally cycle dependent depending on what the weather's saying, but let's go see what it's like in here. We just dropped the tarp. I know it seems like this is the 3rd cycle. Seems like we're a little all over the place. Whoops. Like we're all over the place here in brooding stage, and we are, because I want to be iterating and figure out what works here. We'll expand back one thing here. We'll just see what happens there. We just want them to have space, be able to regulate themselves by moving around to different areas that are more comfortable. And right now it's either you're by a heater or you're snuggling with your friends, and neither of those really provide a cool environment or a cooler environment. As a result, you see some panting here, which is what we saw last cycle and we didn't like. And this morning, or when we first arrived, less crop fill for my check. So leads me to believe it was probably too hot or feed wasn't being filled sufficiently, but I don't think that was the case. I think it was probably too warm in here, judging by our thermometer. So again, we're trying to figure out the sauce here, expanding the area now. See Kuya ripping it back. Essentially just pulling back the gates to include one more feed line, one more water line. So this should give them quite a bit more room. So after we expand, we'll have to run this feeding line to get that full. And then maybe we'll add a couple more manual trays as well, just to keep the access to the feed at a high. Look, look, look. See your brother? He's got a little something in his mouth playing keep away here. Look at the other ones. Oh, they took it from him. I'm gonna grab it though, so they're not, oh, this one's pretty tiny. What's wrong with you, homie? This may be a future band soot. Yeah, not the most full crop on them, but you can see, I mean, Dude is small compared to like, you see the difference? Oh yeah. See that? This could be one that may have trouble growing, and maybe we might send this one to the gulag after week 1. We'll see. That's Kuya's influence on them. Just put 3 additional manual pans, and then we'll run this feeding line, and we'll go show you what the Kuyas are doing here. Because a lot of these have safe, like on and off switches apparently. If I were to say, look at the on and off switch at these 5 pans that just happen to be in front of us, you'd say, where is it? And I'd say it's not there because they're broken, and they're all broken pretty much. So you can see this little knob here. See that? You pull that open, it's got a hole on it, which lets feed go through, and then when you want to close it, you push it forward, and then it blocks feed from going in there, but like they're pretty much all broken. So the ones outside of this chick area here, you end up having to take off and wrap with feed bags and plastic straw, which is just durable construction materials here in the Philippines. And we flushed our water lines as well. So we added another water line, so this would have just been sitting for a while, and the water here is not the cleanest, to be honest. We flushed it out again, and we need to get a new filter container thing at some point. We're setting up the auger here. And then we'll run the line so you can see, since all these pans are broken and you can't put turn them on and off, this is what's been resorted to. Tying some feed bags so there'll be a hole essentially where each one's tied, and we did that. We did that last cycle and it worked. So it's just annoying because it takes a lot of time. Feed line is now running. Gonna set up this CCTV, but let's go take a look. It's a pretty central light, so it's really hot. This will have to, this will need to provide some lighting for this to be good. Okay? Now we'll be back after I test it out on this phone and let you guys know how it looks. This is what it looks like plugged in. The lights are nowhere near strong enough, so we're probably gonna end up taking that out, to be honest, but whatever. We'll leave it there for now. We're out tomorrow, so we'll have a little Goya Bulabog Yung Sisu. We're giving them some time to just relax here. That was a stressful morning for them and me, so I need to go relax too. So that's it, day 2. It's midnight right now. We have a trip to Manila. We're going to pick up my passport from the Chinese embassy, and then we're headed to speak with a couple people I happen to come across who have a pretty big commercial operation. They rent a lot of farms, so just gonna pick their brain about their operation, see what they're doing. Networking. So that's the plan. We're gonna head to Manila now, about 3-hour drive. Let's get to it. Okay, we just arrived, we just parked. It's 2:40 a.m. here. It was a struggle city, keeping my eyes open on the drive down here. But we're here. We're gonna go to the Airbnb, get a few hours of sleep, and then we'll be up in the morning to go to the embassy. LED TV crib style here. This is our penthouse overlooking the building next door, and this is it. Should be nice. Should be cozy for the night. As long as the AC is working, I'd sleep on the floor, honestly. It's the morning, 9 a.m. We're headed to BGC. Got our passports, feels good. We're ready to go to China here soon. So now we're gonna head up north to Pampanga, which is like a 2-hour drive or something. So we'll see what we can get into, see the sights. And for those of you who haven't been here, it's quite a nice city. I think we're going to Greenbelt, it's called, which is a nice part of town. So during these early stages, the environment in the farm is like absolutely critical. And you can really either set a good tone or bad tone for how the rest of the cycle will go. So I'm usually nervous not being at the farm at this time, but I got a CCTV installed. You can see like inside the farm how the chicks are looking. You can see Kuya in there. You can even like turn on the mic, although this is pretty cheap. I don't think the mic works that great. Like being able to be away from the farm but see inside of it, you can get a gauge on what the environment is just by looking at them, which is nice. And you can also spy on Kuya to see, is he doing what he says he's doing? You know, is he roaming around as often as he should? Are they feeding at the times they should? So it's nice just giving a little peek at it, just kind of as a, ease of mind. I think it's the first time I've really seen the skyline here. The disparity in like, look at this here. See that? Right there, like quite impoverished places right on the outskirts, and then you can get into the city and you see people driving Range Rovers and Porsches and Lamborghinis and like really nice luxury shops and stuff, and like really, really nice areas. Before I came to the Philippines, you have this perception that everything is kind of impoverished and it's like it's a developing country, which it is in many ways, but there's still really nice areas and successful people that do it the right way, and some, you know, your handful, a good chunk of people that do it the wrong way too. But yeah, the disparity between how people live here can be quite astonishing. Like in North America, there's a large disparity that seemingly grows between people with a lot of money and people with not so much. And here it's even more pronounced and evident in the infrastructure and the way people live. Such is life, I guess. So I'm not quite sure. I'm just observing here. I'm not trying to provide solutions. Run away to the meeting now. It's just a chat, really. Like it's just as what you'd call networking here, where you just go around, talk to people, meet people, you find out some things, learn a few things, maybe you share a few things that other people can learn. Working our personal leads, if you will. Just wrapped up. Good meeting there. 3 guys started a company from the ground up, really. They started with 10,000 birds, one building, and now they've scaled it to double-digit buildings, all selling commercially. So it's a pretty impressive operation and a good roadmap that it is feasible to build out a really large operation running commercial and making good money. And something like that, they rent all the farms. Like, you don't need massive capital up front to get something like that going. So for those who think you need to be a gazillionaire to get involved in the industry, like, you can rent buildings and scale that way and have a pretty slick operation that grows to be large, and that's what they've done. So it's inspiring to see. We're at the farm on day 5. So we're going to check out the Minook, but we have another piece of tech we're going to try to work through here. This Kestrel, which is a thermometer, humidity reader. Should hang it there, should go to an app on our phone, and that way we can see what the deal is. They didn't pay us. Camera up here. I don't remember Kestrel giving us $1. I'm just joking. If it's good product, I'll let you know, and if it's shit, I'll also let you know. Get up! These guys think they could be sleeping when they should be eating, so. But I think we've dialed in our brooding temp a lot better, and you can see it in the birds. Like, they look a lot better from the eye test. As per usual, do a little, oh yeah. Oh, this is that's a crop. You see that on him? Decent stature on this bird. Look at him. It's a 5-day-old Busog. Look at him. He stands confidently too, as he should. You can see here, this looks like it's probably more of a genetic issue here, but hold on, bro. See his leg tucked in there? His feet aren't really growing. See that? He's kind of he's got that nub on him. I've never seen that before. We'll keep him in and see, but when ones like that really aren't growing, then that'll be nursery and or culling. Time will tell. What we're noticing now is that it's getting a little bit crowded. So we expanded earlier than last time, because last 2 times I think we kept a smaller area and it was getting a little overcrowded. So we expanded earlier, and then we may expand again tomorrow and keep more of a spacious environment. So we're gonna hook this up somewheres. That's what we got here. You don't need the most professional stuff here. I mean, we advanced our heaters, which is helping, but you just kind of like, you know, see if it works. Hopefully this works though. The app, I will say, is rated horrendously. And it's like when things aren't going wrong, it can be rather chill. But when chaos is ensuing, the birds aren't growing and you don't know why, then it's a lot less relaxing. But there's no big issues here. So it's just a matter of maintaining, you know, doing more of the same right now. We're making our way out here. We're going to turn on these 2 heaters and then drop down to just 1 fan running manually. It's getting chilly out tonight, so you almost feel the temperature dropping in here, which isn't good. It's already just a touch too cold. So we're going to go change that, and then we'll be on our way. Look at them. They're up, eating and drinking. What else do you do? What else do you do when you're a Minook than eat and drink? So it's a simple life, you know. Sometimes I wish I was a Minook. Day 6. So we'll see what they're doing. Wayne comes tomorrow. We're going to do a little check. You know, when shit's going right, there's not as much to talk about here, but we'll go check it out, see what the deal is, and then we'll call it a day and head home. And we're running 3 ventilation fans. It's super hot out today, so maintaining an appropriate temperature that's not too warm will be the key here. We'll check the Kestrel to see what the temperature is. 31.6 degrees. I think at this stage we want it around 31 degrees, so that's pretty solid. And we got 3 fans running, so there's a decent draft in here. You can see them, they're up and moving. They're not looking lethargic, which was kind of an issue we had last time. I feel like we're moving quicker than we did last time in terms of expanding it, utilizing ventilation, being a little more proactive on making adjustments to the heating. Our man Rodwell got a nursery up and running. Just a small little something, but let's go take a look at some early stage band soot. We should probably start keeping a count again. That's something we did last time, which I do think is beneficial. It's just having a rough estimate. Doesn't need to be insanely accurate, but last cycle we just asked Kuya to, like, when you throw some in, just write it down on a whiteboard in there. so we can have a rough estimate on the percentage of birds that sit in the nursery here. And that way you can get a true average live weight. We're getting a weighted average between the amount in the nursery and the amount in the main population here. You're never going to eliminate the bantsuits. That's what you need to know. It's an unnecessary, or it's a necessary evil. They sprout out, they eat your feed, and they're trying to pull up your FCR. They're trying to f with you a little bit, so you need to keep an eye out. You could just look at some of them. Like, it just looks like a healthy bird. Like, you don't need to be an expert just to take a look at it and be like, you know, he's got a good physical structure to him, looking anatomically good. He's mogging, if you will. He's frame mogging out here, as the kids would say these days. But just a good looking bird, good shape to him, standing tall, got a chest on him. So that's what we want to see. And you can see just in contrast, there's a couple runts in here, and more will get added for sure, but they'll come along. Like, you see some with like look at that, when you see them by the feeding tray, like no neck. Just doesn't have like as healthy of a physical appearance. But let's take a look down here at the far end, because you will see, as we've expanded, there's no tarp here anymore. You could potentially put one at the end, but it's pretty hot, so we want a little bit more air ventilating through. I think the general rule of thumb was like, I'll have to fact check this, but I think it was like 1 meters per second of airspeed across the chicken was like 3 degrees Celsius temperature drop that they feel, something like that. But regardless, the wind chill effect is a lot stronger on these birds than it would be on yourself. So that's something to pay attention to. Like, you may think, wow, it feels really hot, even if there's a breeze coming through, and it's like, wow, like even with the breeze, it still feels super hot in here. How they feel it is a lot different than how you would feel it. See, we have some bags of feed along the fence there at the end, and that's just so there isn't really direct airflow right along the birds at that level. Little gas update, we're on our 6th tank right now. We're on day 6, it's been about 1 a day so far, which I think is not too bad, but we'll just have to see what the weather's like throughout the cycle and how often we need to use them. Nonetheless, we should be on track to use less than we did before. Week 1, day 7, weigh-in time here. Let's go get this tim bag. Interested to see how they've grown in the first week here. We're still battling the temperature. We got this thing to track hourly, or every half hour, what the temperature is throughout the day, and it still dropped down to like 24 degrees. So I'm suspicious that maybe some heaters weren't on, but we'll have to see what happens over the next few days, because we can't be fluctuating 8 degrees a day. Just not good for the birds. We'll see what week 1 weigh-in is, but we'll also keep an eye on the nursery, because some early signs of maybe a touch uniformity that I'm seeing today, looking a little more sketchy, but time will tell. 10 birds per sample. This is what they look like. 7-day-old Minook. Okay, when we grab a sample, we're grabbing 10 birds per sample. So even within the sample, you try to get a good mix of bigger looking ones and smaller looking ones, so you're not biasing your average weight one way or the other. He's cracked under pressure there. For the best of the business here. The absolute best. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 0.08. Sneaking some extras in there, trying to make her weight look good. 1.92. That's why Joseph's the best of the business. Final 2. Ang galing, kuya. Okay. I feel like we're not doing a great job of that right now, and our CCTV's going out. We'll go speak to Rodwell after about that. Okay, we just calculated the average live weight. As expected, section 1 that we weighed first is the lightest. Section 3, which is pretty much right through this door, dead center of the farm, is the heaviest. And the total average live weight came out to 183 grams. Not too bad for week 1. Some uniformity, dispersion starting to reveal itself here as the birds get a little bit bigger. But hopefully we can keep that nice and tight. So we'll see what happens as the cycle progresses and we head in here to week 2. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in the next one.